Canto IX. That color which cowardice painted on my face when I saw my guide turn back repressed in him more quickly his new color. He stopped attentive like one who listens, for his eye could not light him far through the black air and the dense fog. Yet it behooves us to gain this battle, he began. If not, such help was offered to us. Oh, how long to me it seems till someone come. I saw how well he covered the beginning with the other that came after, which were words differing from the first, but not the less his language gave me fear, for perhaps I drew his broken speech to a worse meaning than he held. Into this bottom of the dreary shell does any ever descend from the first degree whose only punishment is hope cut off? This question I mean, he replied to me. Rarely it occurs that any of us makes this journey on which I go. It is true that once before I was down here, conjured by that fell Erichtho, who recalled the shadows to their bodies. My flesh had been but short time divested of me when she made me enter within that wall, to draw out a spirit from the circle of Judas. That is the lowest place, and the most dark, and the farthest from the heaven which encircles all. Well do I know the way, so reassure thyself. This march which breathes the mighty stench all round begirds the doleful city, where we cannot now enter without anger. And more he said, but I have it not in memory, for my eye had drawn me wholly to the high tower with glowing summit, where all at once had risen up three hellish furies, stained with blood, who had the limbs and attitude of women, and were girt with greenest hydras. For hair they had little serpents and cerastes, wherewith their horrid temples were bound. And he, knowing well the handmaids of the queen of everlasting lamentation, said to me, Mark the fierce Erinnys. This is Megira on the left hand, she that weeps upon the right is Alecto. Tisiphone is in the middle. And therewith he was silent. With their claws each was rendering her breast. They were smiting themselves with their palms, and crying so loudly that I pressed close to the poet for fear. Let Medusa come, then we may change him into stone, they all said, looking downwards. Badly did we avenge the assault of Theseus. Turn thee backwards and keep thy eyes closed, for if the Gorgon show herself, and thou shouldst see her, there would be no returning up again. Thus said the master, and he turned me, and I trusted not to my hands, but he closed me also with his own. O ye who have sane intellects, mark the doctrine which conceals itself beneath the veil of strange verses. And now there came upon the turbid waves a crash of fearful sound, at which the shores both trembled, a sound as of a wind, impetuous for the adverse heats, which smites the forest without any stay, shatters off the bows, beats down and sweeps away. Dusty in front it goes superb, and makes the wild beasts and the shepherds flee. He loosed my eyes, and said, Now turn thy nerve of vision on the ancient foam, there where the smoke is harshest. As frogs before their enemy the serpent run all asunder through the water till each squats upon the bottom, so I saw more than 1,000 ruined spirits flee before one, who passed the sturgeon Aegean ferry with souls unwet. He waved that gross hair from his countenance, often moving his left hand before him, and only of that troubled seemed he weary. Well did I perceive that he was a messenger of heaven, and I turned to the master and made a sign that I should stand quiet and bow down to him. Ah, how full he seemed to me of indignation. He reached the gate, and with a wand opened it, for there was no resistance. O outcasts of heaven, race despised, began he upon the horrid flesh threshold, why dwells this insolence in you? Why spurn ye at will, whose object can never be frustrated, and which has often increased your pain? What profits it to butt against the fates? Your Cerberus, if ye remember, still bears his chin and throat peeled for doing so. Yet he returned by the filthy way and spake no word to us, but looked like one whom other care urges and incites than that of those who stand before him, and we moved our feet towards the city, secure after the sacred words. We entered into it without any strife, and I, who was desirous to behold the condition which such a fortress encloses, as soon as I was in, sent my eyes around and saw, on either hand, a spacious plain full of sorrow and of evil torment. As at Arles, where the Rhone stagnates, as at Poland near the Quarnaro Gulf, which shuts up Italy and bathes its confines, the sepulchres make all the place uneven. So did they here on every side, only the manner here was bitterer. For amongst the tombs were scattered flames, whereby they were made all over, so glowing hot that iron more hot no craft requires. The covers were all raised up, none of them proceeds moans so grievous that these seemed indeed the moans of spirits sad and wounded. And I, Master, what are these people who buried within those chests make themselves heard by their painful sighs? And he to me, here are the arch heretics with their followers of every sect, and much more than thou thinkest the tombs are laden. Like with like is buried here, and the monuments are more and less hot. Then, after turning to the right hand, we pass between the tortures and the high battlements.